From unsolved mysteries to unexplained phenomena, from comedy gold to relationship fails, Amazon Music's got the most ad-free top podcasts, included with Prime. Because the only thing that should interrupt your listening is, well, nothing. Download the Amazon Music app today.
Big news! Wayfair's President's Day clearance is on now, and you can score tons of huge deals. Like Wayfair's best deals since Black Friday. Right now through February 16th, you can score up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Like up to 50% off mattresses with fast and easy shipping straight to your door. Plus amazing flash deals on President's Day. Shop Wayfair's President's Day clearance now through February 16th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
This is Optimal Work Daily, the lazy man's guide to starting a successful online business. Part 1, by Steve Chou of mywifequitherjob.com. When you put yourself out there by writing blog posts about your successful online business, interviewing popular guests on your podcast, and throwing e-commerce conferences, there's a tendency for people to put you on a pedestal. Steve, you must work your off. Do you ever sleep? Steve, you are the most motivated person I know. Steve, you are my favorite e-commerce guru. Well, I hate to burst your bubble, but I'm actually none of these things. First off, I don't consider myself a self-motivated person. If I didn't have a loving wife and a family to support, I'm not 100% sure that I would have taken the same path that I did many years ago. In fact, my close friends know that I'm a pretty lazy guy. The other day I was craving a crepe from my favorite crepe place, the Grapevine, but it was raining outside, so I decided to bail. If I can't find the remote for the television, I'll just continue to watch the same channel. Yeah, I'm that bad. Contrary to popular belief, I actually don't work that many hours per week. Instead, I'm good at prioritizing what's essential and drop everything else on the floor. And finally, I'm definitely not a guru or an expert. Instead, I consider myself a scientist. I'm learning alongside the rest of you and using my online store as my own personal laboratory. Here's the thing. Most of the successful people I know aren't superheroes. They are just regular people who have made the simple choice to get up off their butts and start something without regard to failure. They aren't smarter than you. They aren't better than you. They aren't necessarily harder workers either. If you find yourself struggling to get going, here's a quick guide that I put together to help you get started from the perspective of a lazy Chinese person. Put your money where your mouth is. First off, I wanted to start this post with a personal story of how mywifequitherjob.com began. Most people don't know this, but I struggled to launch my blog in the beginning and it almost never happened. At the time, not only did I hate writing, and still do, but I was also very reluctant to learn WordPress. Even though I knew that I could do it easily, I just couldn't get myself to start. Here was my rationale. I didn't want to launch my blog until I had done extensive research, and I didn't want to waste any money during the learning phase. I'm pretty frugal. So, months passed with zero progress, but I continued to run my mouth about the grand goals that I was planning to accomplish. Finally, my wife got fed up with my endless pontifications and said, "Just launch the thing already." Now, as a husband who hangs on my wife's every word, no sarcasm intended, I listened. So I plunked down $200, signed up for 3 years of web hosting up front, and started writing. Here's the thing. Because I put down actual money, it gave me the push I needed to follow through. Now you might be shaking your heads that $200 isn't a lot of money, but that's not the point. Spending money can do profound things to your psyche, and oftentimes this is how I get myself off my butt. If I feel too lazy to do something, I just pay for it up front, and that forces me to take action. Don't worry about the equipment. Before I launched my podcast and started doing webinars, one thing that stopped me in my tracks was the perception of not having the right equipment. When I started my e-commerce store, I was worried about not having a good enough camera to take pictures of my products. Now, production value does matter to a certain extent, but it matters much less than you think. You can literally launch most businesses with what you already own. For example, I ran a webinar 2 weeks ago that made $54,000, and my webcam is ancient. I'm using free software, and there's nothing fancy about my equipment at all. It literally cost me $0 to run. Many of you have seen my videos as part of my free 6-day mini course, and the production quality is nothing to brag about. There are no special effects. It's just me in front of a camera talking directly to you. But guess what? Those videos convert a lot of sales. Here's a fun fact. I'm still using Microsoft Office 2003. Greg Mercer rags on me endlessly for this. Equipment doesn't matter. You and your content matter. You don't need anything else. Don't bother setting goals. Another little-known fact about me is that I almost never set goals. I say almost never because last year was the first time I set a goal of making $1 million with my blog. And even though I hit it, it totally stressed me out. Last year I planned on taking December completely off, but when Thanksgiving rolled around, my wife told me that I was projected to be short by $30K. Having an artificial goal forced me to scramble and make up that amount in December. And as a result, I hated running my business that month. Here's the thing about goals. If you end up hitting them, then that's great. But guess what? You'll likely end up setting even higher goals the following year and stressing yourself out. And if you don't hit them, you'll probably be disappointed and disheartened. I don't need that kind of stress in my life. Instead, I just do whatever is in my power to improve and let the chips fall where they may. To be continued. You just listened to part 1 of the post titled, The Lazy Man's Guide to Starting a Successful Online Business by Steve Chou of mywifequitherjob.com. And thanks to Steve, if you haven't heard the story before, when his wife became pregnant and she planned to stay home with the baby, they knew they'd need to find more income, so they started a little online store called Bumblebee Linens. Well, in just a year, they were able to replace his wife's salary of $100,000 per year, and they started My Wife Quit Her Job to document all of it, and Steve was able to leave his job eventually too, so now it's not just his wife who quit her job. Have a great weekend if you're listening in real time, and thanks for being here today. As I mentioned, I will wrap up this post tomorrow with part 2, so hope to see you there for that, where your optimal life awaits.